Alright, hello viewers and welcome back to Napoleon Total War. So in the last episode we actually managed to do a little blitz and capture Vienna, the capital of Austria, almost immediately. I mean, the game starts off in 1805, it's early June right now, and we've already blitzed the enemy's capital. So currently, I mean, France is in a state of peace, although I suspect that we will be going back to war with Austria in just a little while. So yeah, that was kind of a nice play there. Continuing off of what we've currently been doing, I think our main goal for this campaign will be really to conquer the world. Just like we are doing inside Rome Total War 2. It appears that we have been declared war upon by one faction or another, just going off of the fact that the lines on the map have changed from white to red. Let's see where this is going to go. Yeah, because I do recall that there is an event. There are a few scripted events inside this game that do this.
There is unused land
if you
suitable for
capture
farming in this region.
this advisor always needs to be off at all times. Anyhow, I recall that if you capture Berlin, Austria, and Moscow and Constantinople, I think Istanbul. If you capture the capitals of your enemies, it does stall them up, and it does make it so that you don't have to fight them anymore. It'll automatically give you a peace treaty. So anyhow, now that we've gained control of Austria, we can do some recruitment here. And Austria is a great province for conducting operations, simply because it gives you a nice rock bed to start off with. What I think I'll do now is that I'm going to come here to the naval trade place, and what I want to do is that I want to buy just a nice stack of merchantmen ships. Is this a merchant port too? Yeah. And I want to buy those simply because with the Darth mod addition, if you capture the caffeine, the spices, and the ivory on the coast of Africa, and they also have like the few ports to the Mediterranean area, or not the Mediterranean, but the Caribbeans and places. These guys are actually fairly valuable, and you can actually sustain France's economy solely off of those trade routes. So we'll do that. I think historically Napoleon, what he did was that he also imposed some trade sanctions all around Europe, mainly to bolster France themselves and really just piss off the British. So what I want to do right now is that I want to continue recruiting some of these colonial guys. We'll get some Portuguese legionnaires in there too. Actually, scratch that. So going off of what we're currently doing, I'm going to get Napoleon to lead one army, and I'm going to farm a colonial force, a colonidiatic force, and these guys are effectively standard infantrymen, only that they have a size of 500, the same size as militiamen. They can't shoot as well as regular infantry because they're programmed so that only the front line shoots, but they have really rather good militia and good stamina, so you can use them as grenadiers, just really big grenadier columns. So with that kind of said, we'll leave that there, and we'll leave this there, and we'll just continue the turn. Let's see what Austria does. Oh, that's right, we still have that army from Hanover, just kind of sitting there in the forests. Alright. Yeah, typically inside this game, I've actually yet to see a invasion of sorts by the people of Great Britain. I've actually yet to see them come up. Oh, that's right. The other thing we need to do right now is that we need to quickly cap off some trade routes. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to come over here, find the ivory supplies, and I'm going to get our fleet to sail there, and we're just going to scan these places and cap one off. Yeah, the ivory is the most valuable, and it looks like the Kingdom of Denmark or Norway were whoever got there first. We have spices here, some more ivory here in Oran, so I'm going to send this fleet to try to capture this area right here. For the trade portion of this game, I find... Oh, damn it! For the trade portion of the game, I find it's this passive-aggressive thing where you know what, I should have claimed these first, because as you can see here, even with a really small navy trading ivory, Denmark/Norway is gaining like 5k off of that route itself. So with that said, yeah, trading inside the, or at least inside the Darth mod version of this game is extremely, extremely profitable. So coming over here, what I want to do is that I want to get Marshal Ney to come back to Paris and lead another force. What other generals do we have? We have Louis Nicolas Devout. Not too sure about him, but I know that Ney was Napoleon's is effectively his second command person, and he was with him until the very end at Waterloo. Alright, so coming back to Napoleon's army, we're slowly replacing the losses for our forces. So what I think I'll do right now is with barracks in Vienna, I can actually train some of our local units straight from their barracks. And what I think I'll do is that I'll get some Irish foreign legionnaires, simply for the sake of having them around. I'll also get some French hussars, seeing as how I want some melee cavalry. The guys with the guns, I think we've already talked about them, where they, like, for whatever inexplicable reason, they really enjoy firing to the side and not to the front. And with that said, they always seem to hit the horsemen riding beside them. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm playing with the enhanced unit sizes, but it makes it really rather difficult to use them. Or maybe you're supposed to dismount them and use them as light infantry. Maybe I'm just not getting that correct. Yeah, cavalry had well, two real purposes at this time. Well, I have an agent here. This guy's gonna go to a university. Let's see what I can do to improve the countryside of France. Supply warehouse, I'll improve that. And let's see, we should cap off these trade points. And do we have any trade boats inside these fleets right now? No, probably not. They're slowly building ships though, so that's good. What was I saying? Yeah, cavalry inside this time period, they had really two purposes. One, they were obviously shock troops in the battlefield. They would be used as heavy cavalry that were meant to break through lines, and if lines of infantry were already broken, you'd send them through the gap and chase off all of the guys, really slaughtering them down. Let's research logistics right now. That's right, we also have multiple little research buildings. That's another feature that I like much better than the newer games, is that you can pursue multiple things at once using these little colleges. So what Darth Mod does for us is that it gives us the initial few techs, and it makes it so that I think we have one tech immediately available, the fire and advanced tech. I think we're one of them that allows our infantrymen to fire in successive lines, which is rather useful. If you played Empire Total War, you know what I'm talking about, where like the front lines of your troops will shoot, but no other lines. And for like inside the game, the years would be every half turn. So what you would have is that effectively the world spent 5 years figuring out that if the first line of troops shoot and then they duck their heads down, the second lines could shoot, and then if they did the same thing, the third line could shoot. And it would take 5 years for people to figure that out, going off of the game's timeline. So right now, I guess we'll research classical economics, national debit, which will give us more cash and decrease the costs of our army, and we're going to recruit. We're going to do logistics, seeing as how in reality that is the basis for a lot of military stuff. And in Vienna, I think I'll get a mob militia. So can we get National Guardsmen here? I know in Paris, I think we can recruit them. Is that correct? No, they're also just militia. Okay, I see. Oh, maybe they come up on the map as a different name. Because I do know that for a fact that inside this game, the militiamen for France is actually superior than the other ones. For the first portion of the game, I mean, when I just played it off screen, I actually just used militiamen to just kind of smash through everything, simply because like you'd have a stack of 500 of them, right? And if you're fighting smaller armies, not 40-man stacks, but like 10, 20 unit stacks, you could just effectively bulldoze through them with militiamen. But the main reason I bought these guys is because Austria is back at war with us. And I'll send the General Napoleon forward. Napoleon's going to move forward, and inside Vienna, the population's going to be unhappy, simply because we need people to suppress the growing discontent, so I've trained some militiamen there. Alright, things are looking fine. Navy's coming up, so that is good. I'll send some boats to Spices, and I'll send some boats to whatever other port we have there. Spices we have, this will be tea, and Spices is generating us 1406. Let's see how much, oh, just barely, close enough. Let's see how much tea generates us next turn. Oh, I hope I get to fight a oh, this will be fun. Perfect, great big battle, I'm gonna enjoy this. So let's see who we have fighting on the field today. We have Napoleon Bonaparte versus Joseph Philippe Vysakovich. Oh, and it is a river battle on the Danube River. That is gonna be fun. And we actually get to deploy across the river, which is kind of a cool thing here. So the enemy will attack, like the AI switches between attacking and defensive roles inside this game. So I mean, last battle, I think you guys saw that the AI was really rather defensive, and it didn't move their troops at till the very last point. Now they're going to be a lot more aggressive, and they're going to push up more. So what I need to do is that I need to figure out, okay, this is the river ford, and there'll always be a river bridge and a river ford on these river crossing maps, and I'm just trying to figure out where those are, because I can use those to my advantage. What I can do is that there's some high ground back here that I can put my cannonry on, but these cannonry aren't going to be able to hit very much from here. So I think I'll get these 6-pounders. The bigger the guns, the guns actually do relatively they do roughly the same amount of damage. So yeah, these 12-pound guns as opposed to like the 6-pounders, they do roughly the same. But the main thing about them is that they have a different range, and that's the thing that I'm a little worried about. So I'll get the guns to off cap here. And all I want to know right now is what the range is for my weaponry are. So that'll put us over there. That'll put us quite far with the guns. Move our cannonry up as far as possible here. And let's see, settle for that. So with that kind of said, what we need to do here is we need to consolidate our troops into a line in which our artillery can cover us from the back here, and our other troops can kind of hold elsewhere. I'll get the old guard to man the bridge crossing here, so that should be secure. These guys are going to hold for an indefinite amount of time. And I'll get the grenadiers to hold the river pass, the river ford over here. Close enough to a line. And from now, I can get the bulk of our troops to assemble over here in the middle. I want to position these guys behind this hill to give them cover. And if I can, I want the voltigeurs to go forward and onto the hill in just a little bit. For the cavalry, I'll have them positioned on the flanks right around here. And our lines are again going to be mainly composed of these French conscripts, levy en masse, as they call it. I'm thinking, what should I do for this defensive line here? So one of the favorite tactics at this time used by Wellington was the reverse hill formation, where he would where he would essentially put all of his troops behind a hill, putting a few troops on top of it so that the enemy could only see the few on top. And what that led to was that he could, in theory, he could feint a retreat, and then the enemy would be kind of obliged to chase him down, right? And as they did that, they would run into his full force behind the hills. Napoleon, I think he just did whatever he felt like, really. Do something like that. Napoleon will sit. I'm thinking, will the cannons hit Napoleon? Probably not. And yeah, I guess we'll get our deployment set up like that.
When defending a river crossing, if
there's no victory points inside this game, so that's rather nice. We don't have to worry about anything like that happening. These Cheshires should turn off their guns immediately. And then we march with the Austrians. Yeah, so let's see what they're actually bringing. They're bringing some German Fusiliers, which is the equivalent of our Fusiliers of the line. Statistics-wise, I mean, I think they're essentially the same. You also have the Swiss line infantry. For whatever reason, the Swiss, it appears that you can hire them at select cities, no matter what nationality you are. So yeah, these guys are, I would say, slightly better than the rest of the troops, but you can only have like about 4 regiments of them. They brought a lot of 6-pounders, some Hungarian Fusiliers, some more German Fusiliers, more Fusiliers, some Grenzer, which I'm not really sure what these are. Ooh, some German Grenadiers on the flanks here. And what do they have here? Some more Swiss line infantry. The Austrian and German militiamen are called the Landwehr, so they're there too. Some more of these Grenzer people. They are marching toward us with utmost haste. Here's what I think I'll do. I'll get two groups to form. Little barrier right there. Form a collective solid line right there. And these guys, we can pull them back slightly because yeah, the troops have a tendency to shoot whenever the enemy enters their zone of their little line of fire, their range. But I want it so that the troops are able to get their full shots off as soon as the enemy crosses that ridge. There we go. And you have some more of that smoke effect. Yeah, only the 12-pound guns are able to fire, probably. Have some 8-pounders too. These 6-pounders are typically the first things that you see inside the game. I don't think you can actually build the other ones until later on, but I mean, they obviously existed. Building a bigger cannon isn't exactly hard. It's only that mass-producing them on the size of, on an industrial size that is hard. Where exactly are we shooting them? Shooting their Hungarian German Fusiliers from the looks of it. Yeah, statistically, I don't think they're really different. I think it's mainly just the fact that these guys have blue pants and they don't. Oh, we're hitting their cavalry now. Yeah, the artillery inside this game isn't as deadly as it is in Rome Total War. You don't have those explosive munitions, which is a real bummer. I mean, it's great because it reduces the enemy's morale by so much. But what typically happens is that you have this happen. You have a catapult or a round go through the lines. It'll hit a lot of people, but it'll only kill a few of them. It'll knock everybody down, though, which is kind of funny. If you get enough people to shoot at them. Now, let's see. What's going to happen here? Oh, eventually you do get howitzers, which are explosive munitions. Those ones I actually like pretty much. Are they going to enter the little house here? Yeah, again, the shot goes through. It hits a whole bunch of people, but it doesn't kill them all. What I hope happens is that when these guys get knocked back, it causes some damage to the troops, making them weaker in the melee. But I mean, hey, that's just a guess.